Welcome to Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic. Today we're going to talk about the emotional guidance scale again with our promised part 2. And that's a part 2 that's going to talk a little bit about love, money, health, and wealth, and the practical side of this emotional guidance scale and how manifestation helps it just a little bit. Hi, Jen. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm high. I'm vibing on the high end of the scale.
That's fantastic to hear. Well, we had a really interesting discussion last week about emotional guidance, and it brought up a few things for us. So I thought, why don't we do this part 2 together and you can give us a little bit more information?
Got it. So here's where it gets juicy. So just to recap, we are talking about what's called the emotional guidance scale. You can Google it. Google the emotional guidance scale by Esther or Abraham Hicks. She kind of was the originator of this concept. In my research, she comes up as the originator. And so we're talking about that today. So where this gets juicy is, and again, just for a bit of a recap, we're talking about a scale of emotions, all the emotions you feel at any given day, at any given time, depending on what's going on in your life. And there are high vibing emotions and there are low vibing emotions. And the idea is if we can stay higher, life is grand.
And the
So where
idea
this
is
gets
it's sort of like a ladder. You go up or down
exactly.
one rung at a time. You don't try to jump from, rung 5 to rung 12, otherwise you're a crazy ninja warrior.
Exactly. And I hope we become crazy ninja warriors, to be honest with you. That is my aspiration for all of us. So here's where it gets juicy. The scale isn't just about feeling better. Okay. So where you sit emotionally is literally what you are broadcasting. And it took me a long time to figure this out. So if I want you to think of your emotion as a magnet, okay? We all know what a magnet is. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, if I take this paper clip and I get it close enough to my computer, it will attach to the computer because the computer has magnetic properties, right? So if you can think of yourself as a magnet and each of these emotional steps as a series of magnets. So imagine you've got a red magnet and then an autumn looking magnet and then a golden magnet and then blah, blah, blah. You've got a series of magnets. Whatever emotion you are feeling right now, you have a magnet that is named that emotion. So let's say, for example, you're really mad at someone. So you have an anger magnet. Its color is gold, and you are going to attract other gold magnets. Okay. So
Okay.
that magnet is on fire. It's ready to go. It is broadcasting, magnetizing to you exactly the same magnetic frequency. So if you say you want love or money or health or wealth, your emotions are the signal that decides what you attract. So if you say you want love, which is the purple magnet, but you are angry and you have a golden magnet, they will never be attracted to each other. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it kind of makes me laugh, right? Because sometimes you sort of say things happen in threes, like bad luck happens in threes. One
Yep.
thing happens and then another. It's like you spill your coffee on your shirt and then you walk out the door and you've got two different colored shoes. And then you go to your car and you see somebody's ding the side of it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so what I'm hearing is if you're sitting in that, and if you feel cranky, then you're going to just keep bringing cranky one after the other after another.
Exactly. So this is the law of attraction, right? So if you're feeling cranky again, I think it might be helpful for everyone to think of cranky as a magnet, and cranky might be the color of lime green, let's say. You can't attract things that make you happy because it's the purple magnet because you got a lime green magnet. Cranky is lime green.
That
Yeah.
feels like a lot of pressure.
It is. But it's also such a relief. Like, aren't you relieved to know that you are the creator of your reality? If you stay cranky, if you stay powerless, if you stay stubborn, if you stay stuck and jealous, I'm afraid you're in for a very rough road.
Well, it sounds a little odd to me. And I was just telling you about this before we went on air. And maybe this is superstition. Maybe we're just calling this a whole bunch of different things. But I said to you, I wanted to take a little trip because the last two flights I came home on, I came home with a broken bone. And I felt like I needed to break the bad juju. As my Chinese massage therapist said, go out and buy certain types of flowers, have them in your shower so that you could break the spell. Because he literally said, someone's put a bad spell on you and you're having bad luck. Maybe it's superstition in certain cultures. But for me, it was like, I have to take a trip and come back without a broken bone. And I managed to do that with the little trip I just took last week. So to me, that sort of feels like another way to break this energy or this vibing.
The key with that is, you remember when we were little and we used to have those furry paws in our keychain? What were those? Lucky rabbit foot? Really
Yes.
gross today, right? But we all had lucky rabbit's feet when we were like 6 and 7 on a keychain, and it was supposed to bring good luck. It only brings good luck if you believe in good luck. So those flowers in your shower
Yeah.
only help you break the spell if you believe the spell can be broken and you believe in that as a whatever floats your boat, guys.
Right. Right. And maybe it's like taking another trip and coming back and proving that I could
It
break this
worked.
spell. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get flowers and put them in my shower. Sheesh.
Okay, so let's go back to love a little bit. So let's
Okay.
talk about love.
Okay. So let's take love. So if you're in despair or jealousy, let's say your boyfriend broke up with you. We talked about that a little bit last time, or your girlfriend broke up with you, or you broke up with your boyfriend, and you're sitting in sadness, maybe grief, maybe hatred, maybe jealousy, whatever that feeling is, you are broadcasting lack. Okay. Like, I don't have it. Why don't I have it? Why doesn't she want me? Why doesn't he want this anymore? Why is he leaving? Why did she walk out the door? That vibration of lack, because I don't have them anymore, only attracts more situations that match that feeling. Okay. But if you shift even into, well, even this feeling of maybe he'll come back, that hopefulness, I'm not saying being delusional, but hopefulness or even optimism that it might not be so bad, or maybe there's someone else better out there for me, you become more magnetic to hopeful things and optimistic things. So you see how
Okay,
this works?
right. So,
So you
okay.
start to maybe you start to see opportunities that show that where people show up differently and where people have that same kind of hopeful energy. But the longer you stay, and listen, I have been there in breakup for months crying into my pillow, where you feel like the world is over and you are the worst person on the planet because they didn't want you anymore. So you've got no self-worth and no self-esteem. Get it out of your system, but
Mhm.
get moving up that scale as soon as you can.
So, part of what you're saying too is that your mood makes you more attractive. And it's not just romantically, it's socially. It's that vibration. And I think, we've in the past talked about energy vampires, or you
Yeah.
walk into a room and who's just not vibing at the vibe you're vibing at.
Totally. Your energy basically is your dating profile, your attractor profile. It is your profile. Quick story. My daughter, so proud of her, 24 years old. She quit her safe corporate job on Friday. She split up with her boyfriend and on Monday left for Lisbon. And on Tuesday morning, woke up in downtown sunny Lisbon, Portugal, and she went by herself. And so, as Mama
Amazing.
Bear, I'm a little bit, listen, she lives in a big city. I wasn't worried about that. She knows she's street smart, but I was just worried for her, like in a, not even just in a, a new country. She's across the pond, the whole 9 yards. So I kept checking in with her. And on day one, she said to me, "Oh, Mom, I met an Aussie at the flea market that I've already gone to. I dropped off my bags. I went to the flea market. I met an Aussie. And then I met my Italian new roommate, and the three of us went out for dinner. And tomorrow we're going pub crawling." Okay. So as a mother, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. But from an attraction perspective, she was vibing, welcome, open, happy meetups. And in day one, met two besties. I bet you they will travel together and probably be friends for life because she was vibing. I'm open and I'm ready to receive.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. And you're saying your energy is your dating profile, but it's your social profile, it's your job candidate profile,
All of
it's
it.
your great neighbor profile, it's your contributing to society profile, all those things.
Absolutely. And I said to her, I texted her back and I said, "Don't you find it funny? There the people in your life that say, and I hear it all the time, it's hard to find friends at this state and age, or it's hard to meet new people." I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? But again, it's a choice. It's the vibe, right?
Well, interestingly enough, I just was listening to Esther Perel,
Mhm.
who's a well-known couples therapist,
Yeah.
and she was asked this question, sort of, what advice would you give to young people today? I thought it was brilliant. She said, talk to strangers. She said, you get a new job. Your whole job for the first few weeks is talking to strangers. If you're in sales, your job is talking to strangers. You're not stuck on your phone, head down at the dinner table within the bosom of your family. Just talk to strangers. And I think in some respects, this whole energy vibe and the ability to talk to strangers is interlinked, because if you've got that vibe of talk to me, I'm open, even if it's something like, wow, this line is really long, isn't it? You could open up a conversation that would surprise the heck out of you.
Yeah, and if you think about sometimes why people, I mean, we could go spend the whole time on this topic alone too, but if you think about why people sometimes don't open themselves up to conversation, is it because they're worried they don't look good enough, or they are jealous because you look better than they do, or you're wearing a more expensive outfit than they are, or you're frustrated at yourself because you can't start the conversation, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed because you're in a new environment. Look at where those emotions sit on our scale:
Right.
frustration, overwhelm, worry, doubt, jealousy. They all attract the same in another person.
Hmm. Yep. So exuding
I,
the right vibe exudes the vibe you
oh
want to
yeah,
bring back.
I put this out on my TikTok channel not too long ago, and I heard it from somebody else on TikTok, so I don't own it. But the idea was that the people that you attract when you are so damn broken are the ones that will disgust you once you're healed,
Interesting.
right? So we are attracting things when we are broken and messy and broken up with and whatnot. But as we heal and get better, we look back at that and go, what was I doing with that guy anyway? Right?
Well, and I think the key piece of self-awareness is also recognizing that as you heal, that level of vibe is holding you back and holding you down. And if
Yeah.
you're vibing with people who want to keep you down there,
Totally.
you've got to think twice about that as well.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's try the same thing now with money. Bank accounts don't care if you're cheerful or pissed off.
No, but your actions do. So again, if you're hanging out down here in fear and worry, you're making decisions from scarcity and lack, right? You miss opportunities, you settle, you don't notice the doors that are opening. But if you move up again towards optimism or towards, hopefulness, or if you can just shift even from worry, I'm worried about my bank situation, my financial situation. If you can shift from worry into, this is so overwhelming for me, even that is an improvement. So if you move up slightly in that scale, suddenly ideas will start to flow, suddenly conversations will start to click, and then you're aligned with abundance.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And the scale will literally predict whether you will see opportunities or whether you will block them.
Right. So, I mean, I get that. When someone's stressed around money, when I'm that way, I feel way less creative. So that part kind of tracks. You don't really think about what you could be doing differently when you're sitting in worry.
Totally. And I mean, when you're worried about money, and I've been there, I have been there. I have been drowning in debt. I have been wondering when the money will start showing up. I've been there. All
Hmm.
you think you're consumed by it. But I want you to think about it this way. Do you want to hang out with someone that constantly is talking about their woes?
Right. No.
Do you? No. And neither does money.
Okay.
Remember, money's just energy. It's all
Right.
energy. And so if you are worried, if this scale is everything, like if you're hanging out in the doom and the glooms, nobody wants to hang out with you. Money doesn't want to hang out with you. Health doesn't want to hang out with you. Nobody wants to, no energy is attracted to that energy other than bad energy.
Okay, so let's talk about health a little bit, because that's, kind of been my favorite topic for the last 10 months.
Yeah. Same with health. Fear, despair, it weakens your body. You are attracting more things that will attack your body.
Okay.
Science even backs this with cortisol and stress, right? But emotions like hopefulness and appreciation's a big one. We can talk about that. Even contentment can change and create conditions for healing. So the scale isn't just the woo, it's biology. I mean, let's talk about uh, the placebo effect
Right. Yeah, well,
right
placebo
there.
research shows that, shows the belief and expectation, which can impact the healing. And I've talked about this before too. When I'm asked, how are you feeling? How is it healing? Every day gets a little bit better. And it's not because I've done anything new or different or what have you, but it is a mental game of imagining the bones knitting and the healing working its way along. So I could see how placebo just backs this up as well. So maybe being on a higher scale is like giving your body just better chemistry to work with.
Totally. You are your own vibrational pharmacy. And I'll give you an example. I have this sore on my high tummy from an old gallbladder incision when my gallbladder came out, and it
Hmm.
got so inflamed and flared up for some reason. So, of course, I did what you're not supposed to do, and I made it even more inflamed. And it turned into quite what my mom would call a pig's foot. And it got infected and it was sore. I had to be careful what I wore. There are people in my life that would have looked at that and gone, "Oh my God, Jennifer, that's serious. You got to get that to the doctor." And I just kept saying to myself, my body is powerful. It's renewing cells all the time. It is healing every day. It's getting better. And
Right.
now the inflammation's down. The infection is gone. I didn't go anywhere. My body took care of what I know my body can do. But some people don't believe that.
Yep. And just to have sort of that legalese, we're not doctors. It's what's working
No.
for us. It's just personal experience. We're not suggesting you do one thing or another. That's entirely up to you to make the decisions you need to make.
Especially because I don't know what your belief systems are. And if you
Yeah.
believed what I believed, then you could do what I have done. But you're
Yeah.
right, it's personal experience. And with my broadcasting system, I know what I'm capable of bringing into my life.
Right. Okay, let's look at wealth beyond money, right? Not just
Okay.
money, because we've talked about this before. When we talk about wealth, it's not dollars and cents, right?
Yeah. So you're right. Wealth gets too much acclaim for money, but it isn't just money, it's opportunities, it's relationships, it's freedom. It's when you're in joy and appreciation and empowerment and you live wide open to receive. And I talk about my hummingbirds all the time. Like a month ago, I didn't have hummingbirds, and then I declared I was going to have them. And now literally sit at the kitchen table and we laugh as we watch them playing out in the backyard. Like
Yeah.
when you are open to receive, that's when synchronicities happen. Like almost a year ago today, Sharon,
Almost a
almost a
year
year ago,
ago today. Yeah.
September 2024, you called me up unknowingly, knowing that I wanted to recreate a podcast, but didn't know what the topic was going to be and didn't know what it was. And I didn't want to force it, but I was open to receive. And you shoot into my life and say, "Jen, I think we should start a podcast. I think it should be on this topic. I think I should be the skeptic." Well, because you are the skeptic. And I think you should be the believer. And the next thing we knew, we had a podcast, and I counted them this morning. We are 25 episodes in,
Wow.
halfway, half a year done.
That's amazing, isn't it? Well,
Yep.
and I'm going to sit from the skeptic's perspective for a moment, but I was just relaying a story to you earlier that I happened to be on a cruise next year and it was ending up in a city that I've been to before in Mumbai. Not that there's anything wrong with Mumbai. I mean, it was lovely to be there, but it really wasn't where I wanted to end and spend a few days. And then I got a call just the other day and they said, well, we're going to do a change in our itinerary and we're not going to stop in Mumbai. We're going to stop in the Seychelles. And I've never been to the Seychelles. And I'm thinking, well, that's a good place to spend a few days.
Honest to Pete.
And I
Honest to
had to
Pete.
giggle, but I'm still a skeptic.
Okay, that's fine. You can call that like a happenstance, but I'm telling you, when you are open to receive those kinds of synchronicities or
Yeah.
happenstances, whatever you want to call them, coincidences, they will bring what you are wanting and what you've been asking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we call it all sorts of different things, right? Opportunities you might otherwise ignore, and sometimes just plain old dumb luck.
Sure. But even if you go around saying, "I'm lucky," I am lucky. Guess what? Luck will find you.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a closing takeaway here. What's your bottom line? Give us the sort of the synopsis of today,
Okay, the bottom line is I want everybody to go and Google that chart, that ladder.
right?
Please print it off, put it in front of you. Because then you can start going, ooh, I'm really angry at her. You can pinpoint, right? You can see how far you are from the thing you want. Emotions are not just feedback, they are the engine of manifestation. So if you say you want love, and you say you want money, and you say you want health, and you say you want wealth, but you're vibing down at the bottom, you are not tuned into it. Climbing that scale is how you tune in to the greatness of life and all of life's rich tapestry, as my old neighbor used to say.
And for the skeptics, even if you decide to strip out the word manifestation, all of
Yeah,
this is pretty much gold. Your emotional state helps shape your decisions, your presence, your results. So you can call it vibration or psychology. It's really all the same power. It's how you show up in the world.
totally, 100%. And that's the magic. The scale is both spiritual and for you skeptics, it's practical. It's your roadmap to everything you desire in life.
That's great, Jennifer. Thank you very much for today. Thanks, listeners, for joining us on Believer versus Skeptic. It's been a great chat once again, and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye for now.